Fort Sam Houston Independent School District Board of Trustees meeting. The time is now 1700 p.m. and I would like to walk you through the September 2024, 2025 regular business meeting of the Fort Sam Houston Independent School District Board of Trustees. My name is Willie White, and as board president, I have the pleasure of calling this meeting to order. Please note that the meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. For this reason, I ask you please silence your cell phones, and if you make a mistake in receiving a call, please do so. Step outside and do so. Agenda item 1 is a call to order, pledge of allegiance to the United States flag and the pledge to the Texas flag.
Okay, Mr. President, board members, faculty, staff, parents, and students, good evening and welcome. I get the great honor and pleasure of introducing our pledgers and our inspirational speaker for this evening. Our pledge of allegiance is Miss Jolie Wilson, 5th grader. She is a member of Miss Neal's 5th grade class. Her parents are Staff Sergeant Jody Wilson and Mr. Norris Wilson. Had the pleasure of meeting him today, and thank you for being here, sir. Jolie and her family have been a part of Fort Sam Houston since she was in the 3rd grade. She has a brother, Jonah Wilson, who is also a 5th grade student. Jolie's favorite subject is math is because she's interested in becoming an accountant when she grows up. And math helps with that, and kind of had an opportunity to speak with Jolie offline, and she likes numbers, so that's a great thing. When Jolie isn't at school, she enjoys playing games with her brother. After Jolie graduates from high school, there's a possibility that she would like to join the military. So it was a pleasure and honor, ma'am, meeting you. Okay, our middle school pledger is a Mr. Isaac Gammons, who's in 7th grade. He's a bright and an enthusiastic 12-year-old student who brings energy and heart to everything he does. Isaac enjoys spending time outdoors, playing sports, and being a member of the Leadership and Character Development Corps. Having attended Fort Sam Houston ISD for nearly 6 years across 2 different campuses, Isaac has developed a strong connection with his school community. His pride in his education is matched only by the love he holds for his family. And that's very evident. Mom and Dad are here supporting and representing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Isaac's mother serves as a nurse and commander in the U.S. Army, while his father works in the MRI department in BAMC, both setting powerful examples of service and dedication. Currently a 7th grader, Isaac is already thinking ahead. Inspired by his parents' careers and his own desires to help others, he dreams of one day joining the Army himself and serving in healthcare field to make a meaningful difference. And our high school moment, inspirational moment speaker is a senior, Miss Priya McMahon, and is a senior at Robert G. Cole High School and has been a part of the Fort Sam Houston ISD since the 1st grade. The daughter of Major Ryan McMahon and Erica McMahon, Priya has been active in the district community for many years and has helped shape the culture not only in many student organizations, but at the school as a whole. And have an opportunity to read her bio, she's very busy, extremely busy. A varsity athlete in soccer and track, as well as a leader academically as president of the English National Honor Society, member of the NHS, Mu Alpha Theta, student to student, and student council, Priya has balanced responsibilities in and out of school while maintaining high academic standards. Chief among these achievements is Priya's commitment to the Culinary Arts CTE program, where she has advanced from introductory level to practical. Currently, she helps run the student cafe on campus and prepares food for events across the district and in the community. She is also a member of the nationally ranked competition barbecue team and is a major contributor to the development of the culinary arts program as a whole. With plans to attend Baylor or the University of Texas at Austin to study nutrition, Priya will represent the district as a student in unique ambition, dedication, and commitment to excellence. She is and will continue to be an example of the caliber student that Fort Sam Houston ISD strives to develop. So that means allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good job, guys. Great job. Thank you.
I still remember that first high school feeling. The foreign walls, teachers you couldn't even name, the feeling after being demoted from the top of middle school in 8th grade to the bottom of the kids above me. Overwhelming. Entering my freshman year, scared of pretty much anyone who looks my way, I truly put culinary on my class list simply for an art credit, finding out the hard way that I would never be granted it. Still, something has dragged me back into this program for the 4th year in a row. In my first year, I was too anxious to even ask for any sort of assistance or where the utensils, machines, or even ingredients were. I would rather my food be undercooked to endure the struggle of looking through every shelf, every box, for one simple teaspoon of nutmeg than ask for help. This applied to every aspect of my life in high school. Chef, backed by the culinary program, broke that barrier down for me. Culinary has challenged me with my cramping hands, my sore arms, and it has tested my patience more than anything I've ever imagined. But these struggles don't even begin to compare to the rewards culinary has provided for me. Besides the free food, culinary has given me a new understanding of what food really means to me. It has taught me that it is okay to speak up, and there will always be another question that you have to ask. I'm sure we all know that food is a pretty big deal in Texas. It connects us. It's what makes us human. Making food at 11 o'clock in the morning with people I've never met before was both a terrifying and revolutionary experience for me. It forced me to escape the doomed comfort zone I was trapped in, and to speak with those who hold no interest in the conversation I have to offer. Even still, we work together and produce quality food. The food we gather to share is known as communion. It is one of the most valuable and vulnerable and connected spaces that people can enter. In culinary, not only do we eat and share together, but we form our foods from its most original form. These acts of communion not only bring me closer to my peers, but it has helped me find one of the things I am most passionate about, cooking. I have been brought closer to people who I would never have met otherwise, who support me and have broken me out of the shell that suffocated me in my starting years of high school. Even now, I still remember being named the best salted caramel that chef has ever tasted, which honestly felt like I had won Hell's Kitchen. I remember the torturous ice cream machine, which made it a point to make every single competition run as slow as possible. I remember the silent victories no one outside of culinary would even understand. I remember scraping grease off a grill for hours for the entire class period. I remember smelling like oil all day after class. I remember the crash outs and panics that no one was safe from having. I remember the relationships I had built, the level of comfort that is held in this class. I remember that culinary is my safe place, the place I don't have to pretend.
Cool.
Very good, very good, awesome. Can we get a picture of our students and their families?
Okay. I think I got one. Thank you.
Okay, this is a meeting of the Board of Trustees being held in front of the public, which is not the same as a public hearing meeting for the public. The board and the district appreciate the interest of our constituents and welcome you to our meetings. However, in our Board of Trustee meetings, only the board members and the members of the administration who are providing information to the board should be speaking during the course of the meeting, except for the portion of the meeting designated for public input. Should any audience member have a question during the course of the meeting, please do not interrupt the meetings or interject your questions or comment in the middle of a meeting. Instead, please raise your questions or concerns with an appropriate person at the conclusion of the meeting so that the board can conduct its board business without interruption. A meeting of the Board of Trustees is a meeting of the board and the public, not a public meeting, which is to say that the audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the public comment section of the meeting. At all times during the meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board. During public comment, the board may furnish specific factual information or recite policy.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Subject that is not included on the agenda for that meeting, and any deliberations or decisions by the board will occur during the discussion of the agenda item during the public comment. During regular board meetings, the public comments may address any topic, whether posted on the agenda or not. During special call meetings or work sessions, public comments are limited to the items posted on the agenda only. In order to participate in the public comment portion of a meeting, members of the public must sign up with the presiding officer or designate no later than 5 minutes before the meeting is scheduled to begin, and shall indicate the topic of which you wish to speak. Individuals may be given up to 3 minutes to speak during the public comment. However, when necessary for effective meeting management or to accommodate large numbers of individuals wishing to address the board, the presiding officer may make adjustments to the public comment procedures, including adjusting when public comment will occur during the meeting, reordering agendas, deferring public comment on non-agenda items, continuing agenda items to a later meeting, provided expanded opportunity for the public, or adjusting the time allotted to each speaker. However, no individual shall be given less than 1 minute per person to make public comments. A member of the public who addresses the board through a translator shall provide the translator. A member of the public who addresses the board through a translator must be given at least twice the amount of time as a member of the public who does not require a translator. The presiding officer or designee shall determine whether a person addressing the board has attempted to resolve the matter administratively through resolution channels established by the policy. If not, the person's presentation shall be halted, and the person shall be referred to the appropriate policies to seek resolutions. DGBA, employee complaints; FNG, student or parent complaints; GF, public complaints. There shall be no interruption of the meeting by the members of the audience. If after at least one warning from the presiding officer, an individual continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request assistance from law enforcement officials to have the individual removed from the meeting, and once the individual is escorted off the premises, the person is not permitted to return to the meeting. Individuals with signs, props, or displays shall sit in the last row of the chairs or along the back wall so not to interfere with the meeting or with the public observation of the meeting. During public comment, individuals shall not use the name of district employees or of district students unless the student about which they are speaking is of their own. Let the record reflect, we have a quorum. With 5 members of the board members being present, I declare a quorum. Let the following board members are present: Vice President, Mr. Aaron Braxton II; Secretary, Dr. Latoya Sizer; Board Member, Colonel Rebecca Zanate; Board Member, Ms. Andrea Nicholas; President, myself, Mr. Willie White. We will now move back to Agenda 2. The State Board of Education met on September 12, 2025 and approved the reappointment of Colonel retired Aaron J. Braxton II for another 2-year term on his board. Congratulations, Mr. Braxton. As we all know, members of the Fort Sam Houston ISD Board of Trustees serve the district as a team whose focus is meeting the needs of the military children. For the record, Mr. Braxton was sworn in on Monday, September 22nd by Tyra Timmons, notary public, and administrative assistant to the board and the superintendent.
And if I could, real quick, I'd just like to say that I am deeply honored to be reappointed as a Board of Trustee for Fort Sam Houston ISD. I truly believe that it allows me to continue my service in support of every student, educator, and family. As a parent of a school-age student, a veteran, and an advocate for youth development, I truly believe that education is the foundation for opportunities. And I want to say thank you for trusting me. Thanks.
We'll now begin our public speaking. Our first public speaker will be Mr. Shellhart.
Good evening. Last month, this district promised the PTO a room. The promise still remains unfulfilled, replaced with hopeless new promises of constructing one within months. A clear ploy to tide us over, hoping enough of our military families will PCS before the district is ever held accountable. So as we speak, the parents who show up every single day and are working out of boxes, coordinating out of our homes, and holding meetings on a busy stage, this isn't just about a room, it's a glaring symptom of the district mismanagement and trying to push the PTO out of our school. While our volunteers are homeless, we have administration staff, sometimes 2 people in oversized offices that could easily house more, solving some of these very issues. This mismanagement goes hand in hand with the administration's staggering financial hypocrisy. We see simple title changes from Ms. Novak resulting in a $31,000 raise in just over 4 years. We see a superintendent.
Mr. Shellhart,
who
Mr. Shellhart, just a second.
As long as it's
Please do,
time- as long
please
as
do
the
not,
time stops.
please do not utilize names, sir, or
Understood.
I have to ask you to leave.
Just over 4 years, as we see a superintendent who preaches fiscal responsibility while collecting a base salary of nearly $26,000 while only overseeing 1,600 students. An honest man, a man of God, once said, "Power shows the man." Superintendent, you, sir, you're a tyrant. You preach our kids, our community, our future, but your actions show a different story. You'd rather pat yourself on the back and speak more about yourself in last month's board meeting than you do about the teachers who earned this district its accolades. A story where you silence criticism by removing parents and their children from your school. Your power has revealed a leadership style completely detached from the people you serve. This district recently posted about board-approved employee raises, patting yourselves on the back once again, but you failed to mention that those raises appear to be out of compliance with state law. I have here Senate Bill 26, which mandates pay raises for our size of a district. It requires a $10,000 raise, pay increase for teachers over 5 years of experience. The district only gave them 8. You shortchanged our most experienced teachers while giving yourself and top administration a 3% raise to your already inflated salaries. You ask our teachers to tutor for $45 an hour while you make over $120 an hour just from your base salary. You're robbing our teachers to line your pockets. Let me be crystal clear about one more thing. The agenda tonight does not include any vote on reopening campuses. Your disregard for that vote is absolute. We will not be silenced by the breadcrumbs you give us, and we will not stop this fight regardless of what happens. I came here tonight to ask this board to do better, to be better, to end the toxic, self-serving leadership of the Bates era. Our community is standing up, and we're asking you to stand with us for the change our children deserve.
You mentioned my name.
Or remain silent. If you choose to protect the status quo, then I just pray you're prepared for the outcome.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Downing.
Mr. White and the Fort Sam ISD Board,
I'd like to thank you for taking the opportunity, letting me have the opportunity today. Last month was the very first time I had ever attended a Fort Sam ISD board meeting. Mr. White, that was because of the stupid decision this board made to value toxic employees over the welfare of our kids. Mr. White, I am livid, and I have to express my disdain and disgust for this board. During my speech last month, Mr. White, you tried to shut me down through fear and intimidation. I will not be intimidated, I will not be threatened. And you tried to kick me out of this office, this meeting, when I used your name. Mr. White, I went and looked. The Fort Sam ISD board policy, the tax lien policy, the Texas Open Sessions Act. Guess what? I can use your name. I can use Colonel Brackton. I can use Ms. Nichols, Colonel Zanate. I can use anybody's name on this board. And you tried to shut me down. And when I asked you for a copy of the policy, what did I get? An email from the board assistant, I don't know what your title is, that's what I'm gonna say, which is not an apology, because did I get an apology? No. You have 15 years plus on this board. You should know the policy. Okay, Mr. White, you should know better. And what I would guess, Mr. White, this is a Willie policy because you treat this Fort Sam ISD community as your little fiefdom. And you do run this fiefdom through fear and intimidation. And I am requesting a public apology from you. I haven't received anything as of yet. So, you know what? I'm gonna wait here for the remainder of my time for you to make a public apology that you don't know what you're doing, you do not know the policy, and you just try to run this fiefdom through fear and intimidation.
Okay,
I knew your
Thank
ego
you.
would not let you do that.
thank you, Mr. Downey. Agenda item 5 is achievements and special recognitions. Board members, do we have anything you want to share, training, or anything of that nature? I'd like to share that we just, well, actually we had, this was a busy summer. It started off with our, what we call our Texas Education Conference, in which the members of the state of Texas, board members and administrators come together and do required mandatory training for us to remain in our position. It's a great training. Great training is awesome. I think one of the best things about when you go there is you meet so many people from around the state, and you have an opportunity to pull something from them. I always like to pull something from someone and add it to my package, if you want to call it that. And then we had the opportunity right directly from there, and we went to NAFIS. And I know you may have heard about Impact Aid, okay? Myself and 3 other board, members of the panel here, we had an opportunity to meet with our congressman, and we had an opportunity to meet with the senators and or their staff. And the purpose of that is so that we can continue to remind the Congress and the Senate, you know, that our district needs funding. We're a military impacted school, and because we don't have taxes, we don't have residents, we don't have taxes, tax revenue, the federal government subsidize us with funding, so we can continue to move forward. just wanted to share it because I thought it was a great experience. And every time you can go to the Capitol and have an opportunity, you know, to meet and sit down, even with the staffers, you know, if not the senator or the congressman, it's a great opportunity. You learn so much when you're there. So I just wanted to share that. Anybody else have anything? Not? Okay. All right. Agenda item number 6 is the minutes from the special meeting of August 27 and the regular business meeting of August 28, 2025. The superintendent recommend approving the minutes from the special meeting of August 27th and the regular business meeting of August 28, 2025 as submitted. Any questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. President, I move to approve the minutes from the special business meeting of August 27th and the regular business meeting of August 28th, 2025 as submitted.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
I, Latoya Santi.
I, Andrew Nicholas.
I, Aaron Bryson, the second.
I, Willie White, majority vote, the motion passes. Yo, Rebecca,
I-
you did?
Yes.
I did. Okay.
I was like, wait a minute.
Sometimes you get on the roll.
It's okay.
Okay, all right, moving right along. Agenda item 7 is discussion and possible approval for the design for the new Fort Sam Houston ISD Administrative Office and as presented by the Claycoma Associates and Architects. We have our favorite gentleman up here.
So we have Cody Holt here from Clayco. He's presenting the 95% drawings for the upcoming project that the board approved last fall for us to move forward.
Okay.
Good evening, President White, board members, Dr. Bates. Thank you again for the opportunity to come here this evening to give another presentation update for the new central office building. Last time I was here was back in June when we gave the presentation for the design of the building. Not much has changed from that presentation here, but as we know, our location of that new central office is going to be located next to the existing technology building. Help free up the spaces here, as well as the existing admin building, as far as being able to renovate those spaces for the high school here as well. So the purpose of tonight is, as Ms. Novak was talking about, is we're at the tail end of our construction phase, our construction document phase, and we're just looking for approval for that. So after the design, we spent the next 3 months putting together the actual technical drawings for the project, so that this set will go to Jackson Construction, who's the construction manager, and then they'll use the drawing set to bid the project, and then come back do a presentation for the GMP. So tonight I took a few of the images here from the construction set. So the construction set, as you imagine, is actually pretty thick. But tonight, just a few sheets here. Here is the site plan here. Again, not much has changed. The existing technology building is located over here, and the new central office building adjacent to that. Previously, we were showing a fire drive that was looping around, but we were able to reduce a portion of that, the drive there, to get the coverage that's needed on the backside there. And then the existing parking lot is still being utilized for the new central office building as well. Again, this is just another example as far as one of the construction set sheets here. This would be the floor plan here. Then again, a lot of the information that the contract needs and the subs need for us to actually build the project here. Again, large multi-purpose and boardroom area over here with restrooms, main entry coming in from the parking lot side, so the parking lot's over here, main entry coming into the reception lobby area, and then on the other side would be the new offices for administration. And then multi-purpose room here, be utilized for board meetings, but then also for training for district staff and faculty. Again, just another example here, just a roof plan, again shown the sheet here. Exterior elevation, still keeping with the context as far as the materials and color palette. And some interior elevations as well. Again, this will get really technical with the wall sections here, but again, this is all information needed to build the project. This is a reflective ceiling plan, so this is where you can just kind of cut the building in half and looking above. Just a finished floor layout are shown, the different kind of color scheme. Not actually color scheme, we don't actually have blue in this office here, but just delineates the different materials for the floor finishes. So just looking at the proposed timeline, kind of look at it here, so if we get the approval tonight, the next step would be we give the construction set documents to Jackson Construction. They'll go out and put on the street for bidding, and then the bid date is set for October 23rd, next month. And then it takes them a few weeks to get the GMP together, where Jackson Construction will come back, looking at the November board meeting to present the GMP to the board at that time. Then after that, it takes them a few weeks to get the subcontractors on a contract, and they start getting things mobilized. We're looking at about 16 months for construction for that project. The other thing too, I want to mention too, is the Fort Sam Houston Elementary School playgrounds. We had a site meeting last week with the principal and some of the staff there at the elementary. We're looking at the existing conditions of the elementary school playgrounds and looking at the improvements that needed to be made over there as far as some upgrades to the playground equipment. And so we're starting that process right now. We're a little bit ahead of the game, which is a good thing, because we're looking at summer of 2026, so next summer, as far as doing the renovation and install of the new playground equipment. And again, just the rendering that was presented previously at the June, at the front entry there to the new central office. Yeah, I just want to give you all an update. Appreciate it again.
Cool. Thank you. Board members, do we have any questions?
I just have a question. It's a simple thing, but how does the construction, like, because that's going to be going on while school's in session, how will that be managed? I know it's really in the weeds, but I'm just curious.
Talk about the construction of the new building.
Mhm.
Well, it'll be across the street,
Right.
so fortunately.
But
you
the
know,
traffic back and forth?
Yeah, we'll be fine with that. I know
Okay.
we've managed others. And just a quick history for the board. You'll remember during the 23-24 school year, there was a facilities committee that included parents, teachers, administrators, and we met throughout the whole year to assess the district's needs. And that included, we have some space shortages with special ed, as well as some career and tech programs. And our intent was to keep all of those programs here on this side of the street for student safety reasons. Because the group did discuss, well, what if we build the new building across the street? Well, that presents a huge safety challenge for our students, as well as when there's weather. So the consensus of the committee then, which the board approved, was these buildings will be renovated for student instructional purposes. But, we still have meeting shortage space, as well as, we have to have people to process payroll, so we need space for that. So that's how we wound up here. And then, as Cody just said, the elementary playground, we've already started figuring out what needs to be purchased for that, and that install will be in June or July of next summer for the kids to enjoy the following school year.
Will that come here, like once you determine what the playground looks like and the upgrades?
Yes, yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll be able to see
Yes, you'll
a
be able to
rendering of
see
that?
some of it, yes, ma'am. Yes,
I'm hoping that bus is part of it, no, I'm just joking. That bus on the elementary ground.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question to Cody. And so, do you have a display of what you showed, like a pictorial view? So like if you came to a hospital and we're doing a full renovation or designing a new hospital, we're gonna show you what that looks like. We'll have that plastered and staged somewhere so people know it's coming, right? If you're not part of this meeting or we've ever put anything online to show what we approve, what we're doing, in support of our kids, because this is gonna be used as one of those platforms once that is actually built, the central office. But we don't have anything that shows.
I mean, they could have, but that just adds to the cost of the project. So
Yeah.
we're trying to keep it as simple as possible with just, you know, bringing the drawings to you.
And so-
I mean, when you do those 3D things like that, they're awesome.
Or have they
but
ever sent
there's a
anything out
cost.
to the, have it ever been posted anywhere, like
We
Facebook or?
we haven't approved it, sir.
No, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
is that a plan to
As
show
far
the
as-
pictorial view of what's coming for the community?
I mean, yeah, yeah.
We could, but we haven't discussed that. We just wanted to get approved, but,
Yeah.
you know, having these conversations with Claycomb, you know, that price, we were like $200,000-300,000 above, and we had to cut some things out. I mean, the prices are expensive. So that's, we're trying to go, you know, get the bang for our buck, but once again, be conscientious of our dollars and cents of that nature.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like
Consider it.
some of these that he had up there, absolutely, you know, we can post something, you know, pending board approval of the project.
Absolutely.
And then, as he said, in November, you'll get the GMP stands for guaranteed maximum price. So at that point, you know,
Okay,
that,
so once we
you
get
make
that,
that
it's-
decision, here's what the maximum price is gonna be, are we going forward or not?
Regardless of the tariffs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, any other comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion for this agenda item?
Mr. President, I motion to approve the design for the Fort Sam Houston ISD Administrative Office as presented by Claycomb Associate Architects.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Rebecca Zimmerman.
I, Aaron Bryson, a second.
I, Andrea Nicholas.
I'm Latoya Sizer.
Aye, Willie White. Majority vote, the motion passes. Agenda item number 8 is a closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Government Code Section
Excuse
5.
me, if I may, folks, we're gonna change up a little bit. We want y'all to stay here, so when we go into closed session, we'll go inside the building and y'all will stay here. Okay?
Well, thank you, sir.
Sorry.
No problem. Agenda item number 8 is a closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Government Code Section 551.071, construction with attorney, and the 551.074 personnel matters. The board will move now to closed session. The time is 5:38 p.m. Agenda item 9, the board returns to the open session. The time is now 6:40 p.m. Agenda item 10. Well, there was no actions need to be taken in closed session, just information only, information only. Agenda item 11 is the reorganization of the school board. At this time, I would like to ask the superintendent to serve as the temporary chairman in order to conduct the election of the board president.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, board members, are there any nominations for the office of board president?
I nominate Ms. Andrea Nichols as the board president.
By Dr. Sizer.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the office of president? If not, nominations are closed. All in favor of approving the election of Ms. Nicholas for the position of board president, signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I, Aaron Bryson, a second.
I, Rebecca Zimmerman.
I, Willie White.
4 out of the 5 board members, did you vote?
I
You
did
can.
not,
You
but
can.
yes, I would
Yes.
definitely say yes.
5 of 5, a majority, vote to elect Ms. Andrea Nicholas as board president. Madam President, I turn the meeting over to you for the nomination and election of vice president and secretary position.
All right.
Come on.
Thank y'all so much. Seats.
Put your name in there. And that's what you do.
I'm getting my instructions, guys.
You'll be okay. Yes, ma'am.
Feels a little different in this seat. Again, thank you all for the nomination and the election. And we'll just proceed with my instructions. If I make mistakes, please bear with me. Charge it to my head, not to my heart, guys, okay? I'm learning. So the next item, we'll discuss our position. This is, are there any nominations for the office of board vice president?
I nominate retired Colonel Aaron Braxton for the position of board vice president.
Are there any, do I say them, or do I
Yes.
just?
Just write his name down. Ask again.
Are there any other nominations for the position of board vice president?
Yes, I'd like to recommend Colonel Rebecca Zenante as board vice president.
I think we
Do the same thing.
And are there any other nominations for the position of board vice president?
If not, nominations are closed. If not,
Okay. If not, nominations are closed.
Do the secretary. I'm sorry.
I just go on mine, I go all in favor of approving the election of Colonel retired Braxton II. This is mine, but we can use it. And all in favor of approving the election of Colonel retired Braxton II to the position of vice president. Or vice president, signify by saying aye, or raising your hand to tally, and we'll do the same thing for Colonel Zenate.
Okay. All in favor of approving the election of Colonel retired Aaron Braxton II to the position of board vice president, signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Then you go, all opposed, same sign.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye. Willie White.
No, so you have to just make sure
technical. It's a lot of information. You gotta figure out which part you don't need.
Then at this time, I am going to say nay.
Okay, so out of,
But then we go to,
no, and you'll go say, out of the board, 2 out of 5.
I'm learning, guys.
2 out of the 5 board members, there was no majority vote, for Colonel Retired Braxton II. Then you will go to, Rosinante, and then you go do the same thing. So you need to say that out of there was 3 out of 5, there was no majority vote for Colonel Retired Braxton II.
3 out of the 5 board members,
There was not a majority
there was no majority vote
for
for Colonel Retired Aaron Braxton II.
So now you
And I
go
say
all in
all in
favor
favor,
of
okay.
approving the election of Colonel Zamante
Okay.
as board vice president, signify by raising your hand.
Okay. All in favor of approving the election of Colonel Zanate to the position of board vice president, signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I, Wood White.
You have to do your vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I say aye, Andrea Nichols.
You say 3 out of 5 board members, 3 out of 5 members vote to elect nominee Colonel Zamante as board vice president.
3 of the 5 board members vote to elect Colonel Zanate as board vice president.
That was majority.
Yes, and then you just restate Colonel
Colonel Zanate is now board vice president.
Cool.
I say
So now we'll go to secretary, same thing.
Are there any nominations for the office of
Board secretary.
board secretary?
I nominate Aaron Braxton.
Are there any nominations, are there any other nominations for the office of board secretary?
If not, nominations are closed.
If not, nominations are closed.
That's just 3 officers. 3 officers.
Okay, so just,
All in favor of
all in favor of approving the election of Colonel Retired Aaron Braxton II as board secretary, signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
I, Rebecca Zunke.
I, Aaron Braxton II.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I, Wood White.
I still have to vote. I, Andrea Nicholas.
Okay, so 5 out of 5 board members is a majority vote. Colonel Retired Braxton II is nominated in the election of board secretary.
Okay. 5 of the 5 board members,
Majority vote.
majority vote,
And Colonel
majority vote for the nomination of board secretary to be Colonel retired Aaron Braxton II.
Did they change seats? And
Thank you.
first and foremost, I want to thank the board for their service and the new elected officers, and looking forward to working and learning from them as we move forward. So, thank you. All right. So, now we're on.
We left off on agenda item 12.
Yep.
Agenda item 12 deals with announcements, action items regarding new legislation and the District of Innovation Plan. Yes. Okay. The superintendent recommends approving the amendments to the District of Innovation Plan as submitted.
Ms. Fuller, Dr. Schneider, y'all have the call.
Congratulations, Madam President.
Good evening. Okay, so just wanted to explain what a District of Innovation is. As you can see, it was a 2015 law that was passed. And basically, the gist of it is the second bullet. The legislation is intended to give districts more local control to suit their individual needs and allow them to exempt out of statutes that charter schools do not have to statutorily comply with. So that was the whole nexus behind why innovation was started. It gives us more flexibility to do new things, and then the last thing is, it is in effect for 5 years, but you can amend or renew it at any time within the 5-year period. Because we are only amending tonight, we're not restarting the 5 years, we're just continuing with our 5 years. So this is the process that comes from TEA. You can see a bunch of no's at the top because we don't have to do those for amendments. So 2 weeks ago, the DEIC met as our district advisory committee, and they did the first yes. They approved by majority vote the amendments that we're going to present to you. And so we're here, which is your vote, and in order to pass the amendments, we have to have a 2/3 affirmative vote. And then all the rest of that stuff is me having to mail stuff to TEA. So that's all the paperwork that goes with it. All right, so a couple of different things are happening, all because of legislation that came out of the 89th legislature. So these are all exemptions that we need to remove because the legislature said that there could be no more exemptions to Chapter 37, which is student discipline. So, except for the first one, which is the duties of the school health advisory or the SHAC committee. So we opted out of the SHAC committee last District of Innovation Plan, and the legislature said, can't do that anymore, you have to have a SHAC, so we will be reinstituting that this year. So that one is going to be removed. The campus behavior coordinator, it used to be the law that there had to be a single person on each campus who was designated as the CBC, and that person had to be listed on the website. We didn't because we did, as it says, it was fulfilled by multiple administrators, but the legislature came back and said, no, you have to actually have one person. So it was filled by our principals, it is reposted, so we're taking that one out. Mandatory DAEP placements for marijuana or e-cigarettes. Our exemption was around e-cigarettes and mostly in relationship to not wanting to have to put a kid in DAEP if it ended up in a backpack by accident. We had a lengthy conversation about that at the time, so I won't go into that.
but that one has to be removed. Logistics and assignment of students to DAEP, it's where your DAP can be, if your ISS can be together. It had to be staffed by a certified teacher or those things. So, but we have sometimes, we go months, sometimes the entire year with no student in DAEP. So what we did in the past was then we said, well, it can be an assignment that people could move and do different things, like if there was nobody in DAP, that we could assign that teacher somewhere else. Well, with this, we have a teacher that's in there, and our DAP is staffed by a special education certified teacher, so that those students who are SPED students can continue to get their minutes by their IEPs. So we're going back to that. And then the last one, the threat assessment, it was just the order of things when we notified parents. We wanted to be able to, if there was an immediate and very dangerous threat, to just go ahead and do the threat assessment, but TEA came back, or the legislature came back and said, no, you absolutely have to notify the parents first. So we're removing all of those. You don't need to, there's no real vote on those. The legislature said you can't do it, so I'm just informing you. All right, so these are the exemptions that we're gonna add. So the first one is for the local school library called the LSLAC, or the SLAC. So current law says that the policy requires a SLAC to be appointed by the board, by you guys, if we get a petition from 10% of the parents in the district, or 50, whichever is less. If that happens, we have to keep the council in effect for 3 years. We cannot dissolve it. The responsibilities of the council would be mostly vetting and approving every single thing the library purchased. And there's lots more laws that go, or there's lots more procedure that goes into that. So I'm going to explain that on the next slide. So why do we want an exemption from this? Well, the requirement is redundant and unnecessary. How so? Well, we already have in place a procedure for selecting, reviewing, and reconsidering all library materials. We follow TEA guidance and TSLAC, which is the Texas State, I'm gonna say this wrong, Library and Archives Commission. So they have guidelines for collections, for how you analyze a collection, for what should be in there, for what standards, for what kind of books and things you have to have. We follow all that already and have for several years. So, and our librarians are certified. We don't have paras in our library. We have actual certified librarians, which is actually quite rare these days in school districts. So it's redundant because our librarians are trained to do all this already. So the committee would have to then be trained in this to be able to, they would have to be trained in what all the TSLAC standards are. Things like, are the things TEKS aligned? Do they represent lots of different viewpoints? Do they have, do they offer enrichment to students? Do they encourage reading lots of different genres? So we'd have to train the committee in how to vet all the materials, and then they would have to read the list. The list has to be posted for 30 days first, and then they'd have to read the list, make a recommendation, then the recommendation would go to you, and then you would have to read the recommendations, and then if somebody had a question or disagreed, it would have to go back to the committee. So what you're doing is, every time you're doing that, you're adding 30 days to the process, which means kids are not getting the things they need, as you have to post month after month after month. So then finally, we already have things in place where parents, teachers, students, even community members can all review materials, challenge materials, give suggestions to the librarians about what to purchase, those kind of things. So we have everything in place already. And so the SLAC would be redundant. So that's the first part of that exemption. and that's from Texas Education Code 33.025. The second part of that one, 33.026, is the DOI exemptions for how you acquire. This goes back to what I was just talking about, the 30 days each time. So current law says that the librarian can certify, or the librarian can approve and review, be verified for compliance, for age appropriateness, educational suitability, community standards, those kind of things. It's already a multi-step process because, as I said, you have to post the list, then the list goes to the Slack, then they make the recommendation, then it has to go to the board. If the board has a question, it has to go back to the Slack, has to be posted for another 30 days, and the whole process starts again. And what you're doing then is you're backing up. Okay? Our librarians order almost 100, make 100 acquisitions almost every single month. And so what you would be doing is, we would start having overlapping postings as it went through it, and then like I said, kids might have to wait a year or 6 months to get something they need for a research project. So that's why we're asking for the exemption. Current law also requires the Board of Trustees then to approve every library book or resource, digital resource, movie, magazine, all of that would be acquired.
And the
That
school
would be,
board would have to undergo training in this area, similar, if not the same, as what school librarians go through. Again, a lot of school districts have aides that facilitate and run their libraries. Again, we have, and you know, very highly qualified master's degrees librarians. This is their livelihood, this is their major, this is what they do. And so, yeah, so that would be that.
so what the reasons for our exemption, as we said, we already have board-approved policies and procedures. We have certified librarians. Our policies are already compliant with both, as I said, TSLAC, TEA, and just TSLAC and TEA. The statutory process is again redundant and restrictive. Again, the 30 days, the having to know what you're looking for. I mean, our librarians are even trained in collection analysis. So every year they analyze what we already have and they weed out things and buy new things. And then at the bottom there, the librarian materials, the library would be slower in getting the materials to the students who benefit from them. And on top of all this too, it's gonna take time, it takes time. It's gonna be an additional burden on the librarians as they have to get all of this stuff ready. They have to post the list, and there are requirements on what has to be posted with the list. It's not just a list of titles. It's title, author, genre, ISBN numbers, all of those things. So they have to pull all that together. And our list is posted right now if you want to go look at it, because we're not exempted yet, so the list has been up there. So these are the two library exemptions that we are asking for. And then Dr. Shanetta will do the next one.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the second area with some education codes that we're asking for your approval to exempt are under the grievance policies of Texas Education Code 26.011, 26A.001, 26A.002, and 26A.003. At least it goes in order, well, pretty much. And the policies that govern our grievances are FNG, DGBA, and GF. And remember, one is for student and parent, the other one is for public complaint, and then, I just went blank. Employees. Thank you. The other one is for employees. So currently, if you look at those policies, we have a very established grievance procedure under each of these policies, specifically in relation to timelines for filing an appeal. We believe that a requirement for complaints to be submitted within 15 district days ensures prompt attention and resolution. There's a reason why people are filing grievances, and they need to be heard in a timely manner, and it needs to be resolved. The current grievance policies that we have in place ensure that all complaints are reviewed and that district responses are in alignment with state and federal regulations as well as local school board policies. We also have different levels. The lowest level, the level 2 with the superintendent, and then level 3 in front of the board. So these exemptions, the reasons we're asking for these exemptions, here are several of the highlights. We're asking to continue ensuring that the accuracy of information and the access to individuals, if we went with what the new law is wanting, that these processes would be compromised because we'd have to wait the required 60 to 90 days, whereas currently we don't have that. So they're extending it and more time is going by. It's also imperative that grievances and complaints, like I said earlier, are filed in a timely manner so that we can give them the best prompt response as fast as we can get it to them. We also believe that the Board of Trustees, you all are the best group of people to address any grievance outcomes with the superintendent as may be appropriate. We also believe in local control when addressing stakeholder concerns, except as may otherwise be required by law, because there are certain things that don't go through this process. The entire bill is very difficult to understand, but it's also redundant, cumbersome, and it completely takes out the oversight of local control over the grievance process that we have in place. And again, as I said earlier, we have a long-standing process in place that's been around, these policies have been around for a while, and that we are in compliance with Chapter 26A with our procedures and our timelines in place. And understand when we do exemptions, when we come to you, we also work through Texas Association of School Boards. We work through our representative. We also work through our legal firm to go through both ends, to get both sides of it, pros and cons. We've been working on this ever since these bills came out. We also feel that there are parts of the bill that can seriously disrupt the procedures that we already have in place. Being able to add new information at any stage of a grievance process, it corrupts the whole due process, the record keeping, it becomes difficult, there's no set record, if somebody could just keep adding throughout this timeline. The extended timelines compromise, again, the accuracy of information. It adds weeks and months to currently what we feel is already currently a responsive timeline. People get responses within a good timeline. Also, our legal will tell us it opens the district up to potential liability. And so we are asking that we be exempted from those policies, the Texas Education Code above. Are there any questions? So the two areas are library materials, the SLAC, and the acquisition of materials, and then the grievance policy, and then the sections of the grievance policy. Now, there's also parts, once you, if you vote, and we get 2/3 vote to exempt them, please understand that it is up to local control to decide what to put back in. So I'll give you one example. One of the new rules were that by September 1st, your community can file a grievance online if they would like. So we did that, right, to be in complaints, and we're just gonna leave that up, because in this day and age, technology should be able to click and complete. So, but us being able to exempt out allows us to do those things, where if not, then we have to follow it to a T. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Board members, do we have any questions? Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I move to approve the amendments of the District of Innovation Plan as submitted.
I
Do have a
second.
Wait for me to ask. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
I, Rebecca Zanante.
I, Willie White.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I am Bronson, second.
Yeah. You were,
I, Andrea Nicholas. Motion approved. Agenda item number 13, superintendent's report.
Okay. Madam President, board members, good evening. The reports are in your packet. And next month, I'm meeting with cabinet tomorrow, and we'll start giving cabinet members an opportunity to present the report starting the month of October. The only thing that I have, Coach Norman could not make the board meeting tonight because of practice, but we will be having sports psychology presentation for our entire athletic program, basically what they do, how they're helping our kids and coaches from that mental health wellness component. So they will be presenting next month. Any questions?
Agenda item number 14, the superintendent.
Is the final, is the
Hmm?
final, is the financial reports for the August
Okay.
20.
Let's start over. Agenda item number 14 is the financial reports for August 2025. The superintendent recommends approving the financial reports for August 2025 as submitted. Are there any questions?
They're not finalized yet because it's August, we're still closing out the year, so you'll actually get the final August report when the auditors present the audited financial statements, probably at the December board meeting.
So we are not voting on
Yeah,
that?
you're voting. Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Do I have a motion?
Madam President.
14.
Madam President, I move to approve the financial reports for August 2025 as submitted.
Any second?
I second.
All in favor of approving the financial report for August 2025 as submitted, signify by saying aye.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I, Willie White.
I, Rebecca Zimmerman.
I, Aaron Brooks.
Aye, Andrea Nicholas.
Motion approved.
Motion approved. Agenda item number 15, quarterly investment report for June 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2025. The superintendent recommends approving the quarterly investment report for June 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2025 as submitted. Are there any questions?
No.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Madam President, I move to approve the quarterly investment report for 06/01/25 to 08/31/2025 as submitted.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor of approving the quarterly investment report for June 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2025 as submitted, signify by saying aye.
I, Willie White.
I, Latoya Sizer.
I, Rebecca Zimmerman.
I, Aaron Brooks.
Aye, Andrea Nicholas. Motion passes. Agenda item number 16, discussion and possible action to ratify expenditures accrued during the 2024-2025 fiscal year. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Trustees ratify payments made to Mission AC Plumbing for plumbing and HVAC repairs incurred during the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Y'all have them in your packet. Any questions? Good?
there a motion?
Madam President, I move to approve that the Board of Trustees ratify payments made to Mission AC Plumbing for plumbing and HVAC repairs incurred during the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the Board of Trustees ratify, excuse me, start over. All in favor of approving that the Board of Trustees ratify payments made to Mission AC Plumbing for plumbing and HVAC repairs incurred during the 2024-2025 fiscal year, signify by saying aye.
I will invite.
I am Bryson the second.
I, Latoya Sizer.
Aye, Andrea Nicholas. Motion carries. Agenda item number 17, purchasing report. This is a report only.
These are the purchases made through the board-approved co-ops throughout the year, just so that you see how we utilize those co-ops.
Are there any questions? So we're moving on to agenda item number 18. 2024-2025 Fort Sam Houston Independent School District Campus State Assessment Data. This is for report only, no action.
Hello again. Okay. All right, so the first thing we have are our 2025 ADAP accountability ratings. So the first column are the letter grades, the second column are the numerical grades, so that you can see where we ended up. Good job, we're in a very rarefied company with an A. And then in the last column, you see the distinctions that we earned. Academic achievement in science on both campuses and RLA. And the way that you earn those particular distinctions is that, first of all, you have to, there's a bunch of indicators. You have to score in the top 25% of 1/3 of those indicators. So there are things like attendance, it's star participation, how many kids are at meets and masters, how many kids are participating in advanced classes, things like that. So we got them in science. For elementary in science, that is a huge win. We have been struggling with our science scores for a couple of years now in 5th grade, so that is an amazing achievement, and you'll see the grades in a moment, the rise in each performance level. And then Robert G. Cole got post-secondary readiness, which is how ready our kids are for college. Again, it's top 25% of 1/3, etc. And it measures things like CCMR graduates, AP classes, kids participating in AP classes, dual credit classes, that kind of thing. Only masters, not meets, but only masters on STAR, those kind of things. And then the top 25 comparative and academic growth and closing the gaps, it means exactly what it says. We're in the top 25% of academic growth and closing the gaps. So that's amazing news, really good all around. So I wanted to share those with you. This is the commissioner rule. This is what I'm doing. You have to report by the last day of September, so that's why I'm here. And we always remind everybody of the superintendent's charge that every student is on grade level. On these charts that are coming up, it's at the meets level then. You want meets or masters. Every student grows, and then every graduate is a CCMR or college career military ready credit. So, and it looks like we're doing a pretty good job on that right now. Two things before I go into the grades. I changed the way what I'm presenting to you this year. When we look at the performance levels, I wanted to look at them at a more granular level. And so I'm gonna show you the percentage of kids in each performance level, rather than the cumulative. So what it used to show you was, it would say something like 96% of all the kids got approaches. And then the next one would be meets, so that would be like 55%. But that 55% is already included in approaches. And then the masters kids would be 25%, but they're included in meets and approaches. So what I did was I broke them out. So the kids that you see in each performance level is the percentage of kids in that performance level with no overlap. And the reason I did that is I think it shows you a clearer picture of where our kids are moving. Are they jumping levels or are they dropping levels? And this shows you how the students are growing, which is one of our big targets, that every student grows. So I think you'll see a little bit better. It also actually helps to facilitate, when we look at data, looking at individual students rather than big cohort groups. And that's what we need to do, is we need to get down there and find out who are these kids so that we can help them appropriately. The other thing that you're gonna see in in elementary school is the implementation dip in math. And so I just wanted to explain this because you're gonna see the math scores went down. But that's actually normal and it's temporary. If you follow the research by John Hattie and Michael Fallon, they're major educational researchers, they said that when you implement a new curriculum, you get a dip in scores. And the reasons for that is because you have both teachers and students struggling with all kinds of things. They have new content, new assessment strategies. The sequencing of lessons might not be the same as what they're used to. You need a new pedagogy. You have to change the way you teach when you change curriculum. So, and we moved to more rigorous and aligned curricula all across the board. And so you're gonna see a little dip, but I'm pretty sure that you'll see those scores go right back up next year. But I just wanted to tell you that it's there, not an excuse, but I wanted to explain that it is actually a normal reaction to brand new curricula.
And remember also under House Bill 1605, the State Board of Education is now going to put out what is high quality in materials. And remember, they started with reading and then math, right? So eventually, pretty much every class course is going to have a high quality instructional material that's on grade level, that's rigorous and prepares kids for the next level. And so what we've always tried to do is get ahead of it. But I knew when we implemented a new curriculum, which you guys approved, and it needed it, because math has always been a challenge everywhere across the United States, especially since COVID. We knew we were going to do an implementation dip, so I just prayed every day that it wasn't too much of a dip. And so you'll see that it was a dip, but and that's why she's presenting this data to you a little bit differently and getting really granular so we can get really down to kid by kid.
So we start with third grade. They take math and reading and STAR. So you see the pluses and minuses or equal signs, so it tells you the change from last year to this year. So what you're seeing then is that our meets and masters, it went down a little bit, and then our approaches, went up one, whatever, for math, and that's the dip, because what you're seeing if you add all those up is it doesn't equal 100 because there are the kids that did not even get approaches. And so those numbers are there too, and those kids receive tutoring, stuff that we'll talk about later in the presentation. Reading continues to be fairly strong, good numbers. A quarter of the kids at masters, which means that a kid is ready for the current year and ready for the next year as well. So that's a really good thing to see for third grade. And third grade is also the first time they take their STAR tests. It's standardized. It's a little bit traumatic for third grade, but they get through it. They're well prepared. Fourth grade, we see, again, you see the dip, everything went down. That meant there's more kids probably and did not meet, sorry. And then fourth grade reading, again, pretty strong. We took a big hit in masters, but also, even though we didn't change curricula here, we changed the way we implemented curricula. And that's a challenge to teachers because they have to learn new stuff. And so they struggle with it, but then they got a hold of it and they're off to the races this year. Fifth grade, you see, kind of hold their own there. You saw the drops again. But I really want to point out, though, is the science on the bottom. So you see there, from 13 to 22 in masters, and from 15 to 22 in meets, and that's on grade level. So that's grade level and above grade level. So, and approaches went down, which is actually good because that meant they went up, they jumped performance levels, and that is what we want to see. And that is the beauty of an aligned curriculum taught with fidelity. All the way, yeah, all the way up. And these should go nowhere but up because now we have kinder through fifth grade all using the same curriculum. So overall, pretty good. They have a little bit of room to improve at the elementary. They have a B, they want an A. We are gonna work for an A. So y'all need to help us as much as possible. Come in and tutor. Middle school. Oh, yeah. No, I'm serious. You can come and tutor. Sixth grade math, beginning of middle school. These guys are holding their own. They had a curriculum, but they had been used. Theirs is fairly new, but they have actually had about a year under their belt already. So they're working it already. We might see an implementation dip because, as you know, you approved another new curriculum. We switched to a much more rigorous curriculum for this year. Reading is just outstanding. If you look at that sixth grade masters in reading, that's amazing. People would, you know, trade their mom for those grades. So they're doing really good. We have an excellent RLA program, really strong teachers.
You said trade mom or dad?
Mom. No. I wouldn't trade my dad. No.
It's getting past that time, sir.
Seventh grade, just a reminder again, not an excuse, but remember seventh grade is when you start to have the kids that are in advanced math, they're in eighth grade already. They're taking eighth grade math already, excuse me. So the kids that are left there are usually the kids who are closer to grade level usually. But those are still outstanding scores for them. And then seventh grade reading is wonderful. Not a whole lot of movement, but they're very good, they're very strong. Eighth grade math, again, holding their own, which is wonderful. Eighth grade reading, 61% masters. Those are the numbers we would like to see across the board. And Miss Zuna does an amazing job. I should have said her name, I'm sorry, I forgot. Social studies. Now, you might be like, oh, okay, well, the social studies scores are okay, but if you look at the jump, when we came to you several years ago and presented about our instructional coaching program, that's what instructional coaching does. From a 24 to a 32% in masters, 19 to 27% in grade level. That teacher is making leaps and bounds because of instructional coaching, because of mentoring, and because of the attention and having, social studies doesn't have a great curriculum, thank you Texas, but they're getting there, so. And then eighth grade science has always been strong across the board, so it continues to grow, a nice little jump there in masters. So we want to see those masters go up to like the English level where it's like 50 or 60%. But the middle school did fantastic. EOCs, we have EOC scores that any district in the state of Texas would want. When I go to sessions, I'm the district testing coordinator, which is why I'm presenting all this. When I go to the district testing coordinator presentations and I tell them that our summer retesters, we usually have like 7, like people think I'm lying. I said, no, 7, because people like that run entire summer schools to get these kids. And we have, and when I say 7, I mean 7 tests. It might be 3 kids who failed 1 or more tests, but these are amazing scores. Biology, if you do add those up, algebra, biology, and US history, you're gonna get close to 100%. I'm not sure, one of them had no failures. And I think US history had 1 failure, and biology and algebra had no failures at all. Thank you. English 1 and 2, the two hardest EOCs in Texas, and we have amazing scores. 50, you see 80-something% at meets and masters, and English 2, which is the most failed STAR test in the state of Texas, and we had 72% at grade level and an additional 22% at masters. So we are in good shape there with our English EOCs. This is STAR Alt 2. STAR Alternate 2 is what we give to special education students who are in a self-contained environment. The tests are given very differently. They're a one-on-one with the teacher sits with the student. The tests are much shorter. Questions, they have lots of visual cues and things like that. So developing a sort of like approaches, satisfactory meets and accomplished masters. These kids count in our accountability. They count for participation and for success, for falling in these three categories. There is a not passing category, but we had no kids in there at all. So I present those to you. And again, this is very few kids, which is why the weird numbers. We only might have 1, 2, 3, 4 at most in a grade band in this situation. So they're doing really well. We're making sure that those teachers are getting trained on, and they teach all the curriculum to those kids. We have one teacher, it's like, you know, self-contained in kindergarten. They teach everything, math, science, reading, everything. So this is the result of them in 3rd through 6th. And if there's a grade missing, it meant we had no kids in that grade band. This is 7th and 8th grade. These numbers are actually remarkably similar to last year as well. And there's our EOCs. And then TELPAS. TELPAS is the Texas language assessment for emergent bilingual students who are learning to speak English as a second language. We only had a little group in beginning, and the beginning kids they're the first time with us. The one thing I will tell you with this is, for whatever reason, our TELPAS kiddos are one of the most highly mobile groups in Fort Sam. We rarely have a student for more than 2 years, 3 years, and so the cohorts are just constantly turning over. So we struggle to get kids to advance in advanced high because they don't stay with us long enough. But next month, when I present the EB report to you that I have to do every year, we exited more kids this year from the program than we ever had before. So we're doing something right. But this is a hard group to work with. And I think I told you last year, and I'll tell you next month, how many languages. People, it's kids who speak Spanish. I think we have one kid that speaks Spanish. Every other kid is a different language. So I'll talk more about that next month, though. And these are the high school results. And the kids have to take this test every year that they're in the program. Every single year. So, we got an A. We kind of want to keep it. So, how are we going to do that?
Before she goes over these bullets, you know, I look to you guys for, you know, you're always asking what can we do, right? What can we do to help? And for us, if we really, to maintain an A, it's not easy to do, right? It's easier to go from a C to an A, an F to a D, I mean, it's easier to do. But if you think about the two areas that we need to get very, very focused on, even more focused than we already are, is to grow more kids at all those levels. So if your approach is meet match. And then the kids where they're currently sitting at, they can't go backwards. So if I'm sitting at grade level, I can't go backwards. And so we see some kids going backwards, and we need to grow more kids. That's how you maintain an A in the STAR and end of course accountability piece. Also, you don't see any early childhood data here. we report that to you in House Bill 3, your board goals. But it's very interesting to see the percentage of kids that are growing but not growing enough at kindergarten, pre-K, kindergarten first and second. There's a disconnect between second and third in every school district you can, because they don't take STAR, they take a universal screener, which is skills-based. The STAR test is standards-based. So we're really looking at with Ms. Fisher's team is how predictive is the universal screeners they take in early childhood, how predictive are they to how kids perform in third grade? So you're gonna see when Ms. Fuller presents to you kind of how we're even getting more focused than we already are to ensure that A, that elementary becomes the A, and that we maintain our A. Because the kids here can do it, and we have a phenomenal staff to do it. And so, but I want you to know those two areas, those are the areas that we have to keep working on and keep getting better at when you really study this data.
Okay, so we have to work on acceleration and intervention for those kids that don't get approaches. Acceleration is when kids are taught in the moment that they need it. So instead of, so say you failed 4th grade math, but you passed 4th grade and you went to 5th grade, we're not gonna teach you 4th grade math again. We're gonna intervene in 5th grade so you're ready for the new skill in 5th grade. And that way you're not losing a year, you're accelerating, that's why it's called acceleration. You're moving up so that hopefully by the end of your 5th grade year, you're back with your peers. And it's a different kind of strategy, it's a different approach to how you accelerate kids. And intervention is for those kids who do have big skill gaps that we have to fill. But even intervention is moving more towards acceleration. But we need to continue using best practices in this. We had a training at the beginning of last year on how to do acceleration, and it's made a lot of difference. But that is one of our key monitoring because that shows growth. That's how we get those kids to grow. Closing the gaps, filling in what they need. Dr. Shanetta already talked about early childhood. We're going to go into progress monitoring, and then the action plans are going to talk about how do we transition them from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, and they have that. And the fact that now we're using aligned curricula from K to 5, and in some cases K to 12, that's the kids will be able to build. Okay? It's a recursive process, especially in ELA and math, where they're learning the same things at higher levels every year. It's a really cool thing to see, actually. STAR up to Intel Pass, continued support. These kids, we have to, we're talking about our special education population, our emergent bilingual population. They need extra support, and support that doesn't look like another kid who doesn't have learning disabilities or something. So we need to work on that. Continued instruction and support for teachers. I already gave you a success story for instructional coaching. Curriculum-based professional learning is, we are actually, believe it or not, we're on the cutting edge of this. It's not new, but it's really starting to grow in popularity, and we're already in year 2.5 of doing it. It's when you take a high quality instructional material, and then the teachers learn how to teach it in a way that helps kids to grasp it, to learn it, to retain it. It's very intricate. I'm not going to bore you with that right now. It's not boring. I'm not going to keep you here till 10 o'clock explaining it to you. But if you come and help tutoring, you might learn it. So anyway, prioritization of student populations. We've had these 3 groups always, and you could even throw Hispanic in there and 2+ races. Those are our other low performers across. But when I talked about showing you the differences between approaches, meets, and masters, and I said we're getting to the granular level, we're not talking about the economically disadvantaged cohort. We're talking about the teachers knowing who every single kid is in that cohort. What are their scores and what do they need? Okay? Because we can't look at a whole cohort and make change. We have to work kid by kid by kid, and it's all differentiated. So those are the the populations that we continue to work with, but we're gonna change our focus and focus more on the individual students instead of a cohort of kids. Instructional strategies that produce high student outcomes, and that's a given, right? You want the best way to teach. You want your kids talking, doing, and learning. Campus administration conducting data meetings. Our teachers have always looked at data, but we're gonna step it up a notch about how we look at it and what we do with it. And the district learning walks and campus learning walks, this is, so we did a bunch of them last week, and when I talked about how RLA is recursive, I saw the same lesson in English in 4 different grade levels, and it was the coolest thing to see first graders learning something and then go watch 7th graders learn it, and to see how much more independence they have, how much more depth they go into. And the learning walks let the teachers know we're there, we see you, we care, we're here for you. And so those walks, and the district learning walks, teaching and learning team, which is myself, Dr. Shanetta, Dr. Friesenhan, and Ms. Jacob, Dr. Bates will go with us, and we're gonna step those up. And last year we did a lot of implementation support for the teachers, and this year we're gonna work on the instructional strategies. And do you have anything to add, ma'am? Okay. And that is my report on the state assessments.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Questions?
Good job.
I think I'm up for the rest of the meeting. So I'm going to- Yeah.
Any questions, guys? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 19. Agenda item number 19, consider and take possible action to change the last day of the 2025-2026 school year to an early release day.
Basically, folks, y'all know we graduated Trinity on Fridays. Doing that, is it Memorial Day? Is it Memorial Day weekend?
I think it's the weekend.
So last year, it was a work day, so kids weren't here. This year, we have a full school day. I'm recommending that it's early enough, we change that to a half day, so it allows parents, students to get to Trinity in a manageable time. As you very well know, elementary lets out what time, Ms. Fisher? 3 o'clock, secondary 3:50, and as y'all know, it's kind of brutal getting to Trinity and parking and all that from 4 to, and graduation starts at 6 p.m. So that's all we're asking is to go to an early release day so we can get parents, kids there hopefully in a timely manner without all the parking and all that, so.
Are there any
Cool.
questions?
Good deal.
Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Madam President, make a motion to change the last day of the 2025-2026 school year to an early release day.
Is there a second?
I second.
And I'm sorry, we have enough minutes and everything, we checked all that, so we're good on the minutes.
And we still have our cushion for inclement weather.
Yes.
Yeah. Just save your face.
All right. All in favor of approving changing the last day of the 2025-2026 school year to an early release day signify by saying aye.
I, Aaron Bryson, second.
I, Willie White.
Rebecca Zoni.
I'm the twin sizer.
Aye, Andrea Nicholas. The motion passes. Agenda item number 20, 2025-2026 English as a Second Language, ESL waiver. The superintendent recommends approving the submission of an ESL waiver application to the Texas Education Agency as submitted. Any questions?
Well, where you did the column?
This is just a waiver that we need. We have two English teachers this year who don't have their ESL certification, and because of the program we run, they need to be certified. So what this does is it gives them a year to get it, so we just fill out the waiver, send it off to TEA so that they're aware, and then we have to have a professional development plan for those teachers, so I'll work on that in October and submit next month.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, I recommend approving the submission of an ESL waiver application to the Texas Education Agency as submitted.
Is there a second? All in favor of approving the submission of an ESL waiver application to the Texas Education Agency as submitted signify by saying aye.
I, Willie White.
I'm Latoya Sizer.
Hi, Rebecca Zalunzi.
I, Andrew Rice, second.
I, Andrea Nicholas, motion passes. Agenda item number 21, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I have a second.
A second.
I don't have to do a motion to bring this.
No.
Time is now 7:50, meeting adjourned.
Cool. All right. It's not bad.